Housing is a big issue across this country, and Montana has had a housing shortage for years. That's my home state. It's getting worse. Wherever we go across the state, one of the first challenge folks mentioned to me is lack of workforce housing in our state. It's really hurting our economy, quite frankly. And we're seeing a lot of wealthy individuals and groups come into the last best place, which is what they call Montana, and buying up these houses. It's happening with single-family homes, buildings. We've seen examples of it happening with manufactured home communities where Montanans are really stuck. They own a mobile home that really isn't mobile at all, and these out-of-state investors take advantage by jacking up the rent and jacking up fees on hard-working Montanans and seniors that living in sometimes the only affordable stuff left in the state. On top of jacking up rent, these out-of-state investors often add new fees, basic fees. They've always been included, but now all of a sudden they're not. Fees, sewer and water are two. The chairman talked about others, and that have been long included as part of the rent, okay? And so what we're seeing is a lot of out-of-staters are making money off what used to be affordable housing and making it not so affordable anymore. So Mr. Rust, just give me some insight on how any additional fees, how increase in fees, how new fees impact folks across the board, but specifically in these manufactured home parks where they really don't have a lot of flexibility and they don't have a lot of money.
Thank you for that question. That is such an important thing to remember. From 2015 to 2018, a group of private equity investors bought over 150,000 lots. Again, this is a power imbalance. When a person lives in a manufactured housing community, it's very difficult to move. It might cost $5,000 to $10,000 to move. If you can afford that, then it's also difficult to find a place that will take a used manufactured home because there are fewer and fewer communities that are zoning for these communities. It's true, as you said, that the cost is going up, not just the rent, but also fees are being added onto it. I think at the end of the day, this is workforce housing, right? It is working in rural communities where there are fewer construction crews available. It's housing for seniors. This is a fundamental aspect of something that's happening in the Midwest and the upper Midwest. And junk fees, it's just not fair.
So the real question is I think we can all agree it's not fair. This is workforce housing. This is senior housing. These are folks that they're working hard for their money. Some of them are on fixed incomes, and so the question is, what does Congress do about it?
Well, so I'm glad you raised that. There is a bill before Congress that would permit investment in manufactured housing communities, in particular when resident-owned communities seek to buy homes or nonprofit groups. The challenge they face is that it's very difficult to gather the capital in a short period of time. And typically the reason a manufactured housing community is being sold is because there's an infrastructure challenge. So it becomes very expensive to find the capital and buy a home quickly. The PRICE Act, which is a bipartisan supported act, will provide grant funding to address these issues, and I believe will become a very important source of reinvestment in communities.
So let me go back to something you just said, because I want to clarify that a little bit. Did you say that they're being sold because of infrastructure needs, or I just want to clarify this for me. I see them being sold because in our particular case, we got out-of-staters that are coming into the state that want to change our state, and they see an opportunity to make a quick buck on the back of working people and seniors, and that's exactly what they do.
Well, right. The cash flows available on manufactured housing communities, especially if you're talking about owning the land but not the units, are very certain. They're very guaranteed. There are consultancies out there saying, yes, these individuals will have a hard time moving. This is an opportunity for you to make a lot of money.
I appreciate all three of your testimonies. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I had a question for the credit union lady, but I'm out of time. And unlike the ranking member, I do not want to go over. I yield.